You know what, Simon? Let's step back. It's right at the end of 2023. I thought maybe we should talk about some surprises of 2023, either stuff that did or did not happen from an economics perspective. You and I have been creating content every week all year. Lots of stuff happened over the year. Anything that jumps out at you as a surprise?
Um, not really a surprise to me, but I think it might have been a lot of surprise to a lot of other people. And I think that's probably the real estate prices. Like everybody
Mhm.
knew. In fact, I even said it too. Once the interest rates go up, these house prices are going to crash, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it was one of the biggest fears that I had even buying my house. Cause
I remember.
like you watch, I mean, it was 2 years ago. I was pulling my hair. I didn't know whether or not I was like,
Yeah, I
doing the right
remember.
thing, wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I just like felt like I had no other choice. And you
Mhm.
know, but really what ended up happening, right? Prices did come down some, but they didn't crash to, they didn't plummet to
Mhm.
these ungodly low prices and everybody thought that they were going to go, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people thought, once the Federal Reserve starts to unwind their balance sheet, like unloading these mortgage backed securities, that
Mhm.
that was going to cause interest rates to just go skyrocketing, right? On
Yeah.
these mortgages. And then people wouldn't be able to afford it. There would be like this flood of mortgage backed securities out there. The price of them would fall and the yields on them would rise. So, I don't know if you talk much about the mortgage-backed security market or stuff
Mhm.
like that, but for those who don't quite understand it, a mortgage-backed security is like a box with a bunch of mortgages in it, and an investor buys that group
Mhm.
of mortgages, right? Now it gets more complicated than that when you start breaking it up into tranches and stuff like that, but that's
Mhm.
ultimately what it is a bundle of mortgages. So these mortgage-backed securities, it creates a pool within itself, right? So it's a market. There are
Mhm.
investors who want to buy mortgage backed securities, right? Besides
Mhm.
just the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's a fixed, it's like fixed income investors who are looking for a steady return. Generally, most people make their mortgage payments. So, buying mortgage backed securities is actually a fairly decent investment for a lot of people, especially if you're looking for that fixed income. Right? Well, now this is the idea. The Federal Reserve was unloading the mortgage backed securities. It's going to flood this market. There's going to be all these mortgage backed securities out there. The price of them is going to fall and the yields are going to rise. Now, what ended up really happening is that when the interest rates started to move up, the refinancing market disappeared. Boom.
Yep.
Nobody's refinancing anymore. Now, this was a major contributor to the pool of mortgage backed securities. As the interest rates were falling, people were refinancing their loan.
Yep.
That destroys the first loan, reestablishes a new one and a new mortgage backed security to go
Mhm.
into the market. Okay. So now there was all this flood of mortgage backed securities coming into the market during the time of low interest rates and during a time when the Federal Reserve was also picking those things up. But
Mhm.
now we're sitting in a different situation, right? That pool of mortgage backed securities coming from the refinancing has pretty much disappeared. New home loan generation is still like being generated today has fallen dramatically as the home
Yep.
sales have fallen. So that pool of mortgage backed securities is shrinking, right? Just
Mhm.
like any supply and demand out there, if you have a shrinking supply and you have a demand for it, eventually it finds its equilibrium. And that's one of
Correct.
the reasons why the interest rates didn't continue to go up, is because the lack of mortgage backed securities that were being produced compared to the amount of demand coming from the investors out there looking to get them. And
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people took that into consideration. It was something that I had mentioned. I didn't know if that was going to actually happen, but it seemed like a logical scenario to me as the refinancing pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.